Hi, welcome back, my dear friends. And today I'll be reviewing the Indiegogo crowdfunded comic Kids and Monsters by Adam Lawson and Max Dall'o. This is a story of three teens who find some monsters and use them to confront some personal problems in their everyday lives. Thank you. And this is everything I got with the campaign. This came for free because it's just blank paper, I guess. I bought both the colored edition and the line art version. I like cartoonier looking art, so this was a pretty easy purchase for me. And I think it came out pretty great. I'm happy with this one. And comparing this book to the average size comic here, we can see that it's much larger and it's in an oversized format. The book itself is very well made. This is one of the better crowdfunded books I got in terms of production and quality. Alright, so overall I did enjoy this book. I found the plot to be pretty interesting. The art is great. The characters were interesting, but the writing itself to me was very lacking, specifically the dialogue, the characterization at times, and sometimes it just felt like you were getting too much information when you didn't need it, and then not enough information when you needed it. So starting out here, we have the character, main character Gatsby says, I started seeing them after Mom and Dad began fighting. They were thin as pencils at first, then they got bigger, and things started to disappear inside them. So he is talking about these cracks. I don't know why he just didn't say that, why he refers to the cracks as them. In bold letters, them. Like, I don't know. The book is Kids and Monsters. I figured based on that first sentence, he was maybe referring to the monsters. I didn't start seeing them after Mom and Dad began fighting. So I don't know. I think he should have just said he didn't start seeing the cracks. Why did you have to write it like that? There's no reason to not let the audience know what you're talking about. This is an example to me when I was saying at times we didn't get enough information. Just tell us what you're talking about. It didn't have to be described as this, especially since it's the very first sentence of the book. This is also very vague. I started seeing them after Mom and Dad began fighting. Okay. This particular day was when he first started seeing them, because you haven't been in this marriage for years. So how long have they been fighting? I don't know. So I started seeing them after Mom and Dad began fighting. Initially fighting, if they've been arguing for years, or this particular day? This is not specific. It does not let me know enough information. And then things like this, where the scenes just begin with, no, she isn't. So here we just have, the character finding something in the crack. And then it just goes to, no, she isn't. What are you talking about? Like, okay, I understand, a few panels later, because it explains everyone has seen your mom with him. He's a teacher too. Again, him. Why is everything in this book so vague where I have to figure out everything myself? Just tell me who you are talking about. Why do you make me have to guess or leave me in the dark about things, especially since you're introducing the part isn't a mystery either. You find out who it is. I mean, he's a teacher, so just say it. Explain all these things. No, she isn't. Why are we not ever explaining things to people so we understand what's happening. I thought this was also a very odd way to start out this scene, since it's supposed to be mainly her being bullied, but the scene does begin with her as the aggressor. I don't get it. I mean, okay, so she's supposed to be fighting back, I guess, is what you want to say, but maybe that could have, maybe she could have got beat up at first and then she does attempt to fight back. Then we learn a little bit more about her. But this is what I mean, where, sometimes it just feels like the scene started too late. Like, I would have liked to seen a little bit more of what led up to this as opposed to just pretty much near the end of it. Also, when we see here these cracks, he says, "Where'd my fork go?" So these cracks like affect our world because something from our world disappeared into it. It'll be important in a minute. And things started to disappear inside them. Okay, so we move over to here now. This I found was another part where sometimes the book is just not clear with the art and just makes kind of leaps that you're just like, what? This book has too much flipping back and forth to me, where it did tamper the experience, because I don't want to have to go back to figure things out. So when he's just like, huh? And then, what the fuck where are we? Why did this not pull back to show us more? Okay, so I had to flip back and I was like, what are we looking at here? How did we get to here? And then eventually I realized, we're looking at this person here. Okay. A silhouette, which, each panel has a focal point. So the focal point is here. I read what they said here. Everything else seemed fairly irrelevant, right? You didn't really do enough to notice this. I mean, you're going to glance like right over this. I mean, there's another person here. This person was irrelevant. This person is irrelevant in this panel. Here to here. So to just suddenly bring me to here, I had no idea where I was in the scene. So we either needed some more connective tissue here to, maybe have this person more in the forefront. Like maybe if this if this room was actually like here, this entrance or whatever, and he's like walking out and it's bigger, then maybe that would have helped. Maybe it's on that side. I don't know. Just something to actually, I don't know why he's even in silhouette, since he's going to become a focus here in a second. So spatially, I have no idea where this is now. Also, this is another thing that happens here. Okay, so he's either, I guess, putting the mask away or pulling it out. You're not really sure, because that could be either. It's hard to tell in comics. I mean, the motion is not easy. But pulling this back, you need more connective tissue between these two things. This could be anyone, anywhere. You could have cut to anything. A person in space doing this, because there's nothing visually here to connect those two. Okay, a strap? No, you don't even see the strap here. His hand? You don't see it here. If we could have pull this out a little bit and see a little bit of the mask, then I could connect these two. Whereas these are just random things that, like, you don't know how they're related to each other. Okay, so he comes in here, and it's a girl's bathroom. I always knew there was something evil in the girl's bathroom. Okay, so those cracks appeared here. Right? But no one has ever noticed these cracks, according to this kid. And he says, where'd my fork go? They do appear. And physically, they interact with our world. So eventually someone's going to come and use this bathroom, like a kid or something, wash their hands, and they're going to fall over and maybe die, hit their head on the sink, and bleed out. Or just something, maybe just trip, right? But you don't even realize this until later, that he's the only one that can see them. Baffling. It was almost till much later in the book, when he finally says, I'm the only one that could see these, that I realized He's the only one that could see them. Visually, it's always like a don't show, don't tell with this book. The only reason I eventually, when I reread this to look back at this, I guess this was supposed to be how we knew only he could see them, right? So, he followed that guy, and there's another crack. He says, something is amiss in Lovelock. So, why won't it take a photo? This was the explanation that only he could see these cracks. Why won't it take a photo? When I first read this, I thought something was wrong with his phone. That's why he says, why won't it take a photo? He doesn't say, why don't those cracks show in the photo? Something like that. Or, explaining that, like why isn't that in the picture? Why didn't my phone take a picture of that? He just says, why won't it take a photo? Meaning, why won't his phone work? I thought his phone was just broken. It also doesn't make sense because eventually he says, I'm the only one that can see these cracks. So if he did take a picture of it with his phone, he still should be able to see them, right? He's the only one that can see them. So he should still see it. So once you take a picture of the cracks, also, then they disappear on phones. Like now I have even more questions. He should be able to see this because those are the rules that the comic have laid so far. So I don't know why his phone doesn't take a picture of it. I guess it transfers to technology. Now, what would have been good here is he takes a picture, he sees it, he shows someone else, and they go, why'd you take a picture of whatever, the floor in the girl's bathroom? You. Laughs at him, what were you doing in the girl's bathroom? And they, you don't see that crack? No, I just see you in the girl's bathroom. That's sick. Like, that's what we needed. Something to, especially since in the beginning, he's discussing the cracks, and he never says, I'm the only one that can see them. I don't understand why you can't put that dialogue in there somewhere to explain that. So this is what I mean, where the book had just too little at times. And then later on I'll show you where there's just too much at times, especially with exposition. Okay, and then the dialogue, especially exchanges here. Everything's just question, answer, question, answer, question, answer. Especially this exchange here is, so the bad guy, he followed him. Why are you doing this? Because it was done to me. Okay, well, that's pretty important, it seems like. What do you have to say to that? But you're a teacher. Okay, I mean, that's kind of fair. Not all teachers are good. That is a true statement. What was that ring? What? This dude just revealed some pretty serious information, and he like just doesn't even act like it matters to him. He just has to do his 3 questions. It just feels like the writer is like, okay, how do I get this information across? He needs to find out about these 3 things so we could keep telling the plot. Right? This is an example of where you can have characterization. Why are you doing this? Because it was done to me. That's messed up, man. You're a teacher. Kids trust you. Yeah, but not all teachers are good. But they should be. Something like that, right? That would actually reveal something about Gatsby then. Because now we understand how he views the world. So when he's just saying, oh, not all teachers are good, but they should be. People trust teachers. People put their trust into teachers. People look up to them. That's messed up to misuse that. See, now I would have learned about Gatsby. Now I know where he stands as a character. He thinks loyalty is important. He thinks authority is important. But where it stands right now, it's just, why are you doing this? But you're a teacher. What was that ring? It's almost as if he's not even listening to these answers, and he's more or less personalityless. Zero characterization. And then moving on to something like this. these just huge exposition dumps. He like meets a monster, and it's like, what are the red beasts? All right. Okay, that's fair. They saw some red creatures. I mean, you are going to be curious. They are the virus of the world within. Gotcha. Makes sense. They want to split the two worlds apart, but the worlds need each other to be complete. This is the war we thought over. I guess they just thought about the war, I guess. I don't know. I guess maybe they didn't fight over the war. This is a war we fought over. This is the war we thought over. Maybe it was just a thinking war. But either way, right? What the fuck is all this information? Like, what are the red beasts? Like, how about they are the virus from the world within? Cool. That's interesting, right? Now you've intrigued me. There's some mystery. I want to find out more about your world. This is like, I don't know, like a first date, and like they just tell you everything about their life, and you just said like, hi, how are you? It's like, whoa, that's a lot of backstory. I just said, how are you? Like, as a reader, I kind of want to also figure out some of this for myself and go, oh man, maybe they're from a different world. Maybe they thought over a war or something. No, not with this book. You just told everything immediately. So there's like zero mystery. He's just like spilling everything right here. It's ridiculous. And you're like a monster. Okay, fair. Are you going to eat me? That's a pretty good question, I feel like. A dignified, self-respecting monster, and the monsters protect the world within the world. It's our oath to the one who united us. I'm afraid the fight requires help from your side. What? He just said, are you going to eat me? He didn't ask anything about if you had a volunteer to help to fight or the oath that united everyone. Like, this isn't even really an answer there. Are you going to eat me? A dignified, self-respecting monster. Like, what? If I was this kid, I'd be like, so you're not going to eat me? Like, if anything, I don't know why that isn't said here, because that might have at least added some humor to it, like in between these. And then I don't know why he says that. This is like baffling. I mean, he is just like tossing. It's like so much exposition for no reason. And this is the part where he says, why can I see the cracks and others can't? So it's a lot of tell, don't show, because this is when I was like, oh, only he can see the cracks, because previously it's never firmly established. And then he just rambles on even more. And it's like, oops. Like all this could be like that, like that, and, at least for that part. And then maybe like that. Like so much of this could be, some more brevity would be nice. And the book has zero subtext. Like everyone just says like immediately exactly what they have to in order to move the plot along. And people do not talk to each other like that. No one ever says directly like what they have to. Especially if you're mad about something, you don't just say, I am now angry. Okay, that's really weird. I feel like people don't actually talk like that. So, one last example here. And I feel like this one was quite a miss. The three kids are on their own. They're like doing a journey, adventure, and, it's like a quiet night by the fire. This kid reveals, are you guys still feeling depressed from the poppies? Something that happened earlier, but anyway, no. I guess she asked that, yeah. No, but what's weird is the poppies made me feel like I did when my folks split. Damn. That's a pretty serious thing to say. I feel bad for this kid. Man, like, are you okay? That's pretty rough. I'm sorry that happened to you. Let's see what our characters do. That gives me a lot to look forward to. Mom and Dad are splitting up. They're just fighting. Whatever. Blah, blah, blah. So they just start fighting with each other. They don't care about their friend whatsoever. Like, I get that you wanted them to fight, but the fact that these two characters never once follow up on this kid's incredible depressing statement, like, do you need a hug or something, dude? Like, my God, that was pretty real. The fact that it just moves on like that is an example to me where it was like dialogue for dialogue's sake. And we're not paying attention to how the characters respond off of each other. And to me, that is a miss. It made me not like these two characters because they are just selfish for not even saying to their friend, sorry. You could have had a panel of that. And maybe she doesn't, she's like the angry one. That's fair. But, this kid's supposed to be the caring one. So, at least a panel of this kid, at least acknowledging, his friend's feelings or something was sorely needed, because now the characters, to me, just came off as bratty and selfish. I don't think that was a good look. So, overall, I did like this book, even though it sounds like perhaps I didn't. These are sort of minor things, because I enjoyed the plot. It was a cool adventure. I liked it overall. I think if you are interested in any of this, you should pick it up. Especially the art is great. The monsters are cool looking. I just feel like going forward, this needs like another pass at the script. Like perhaps this is the first draft, or just some more thought put into it, to really nail down these characters and how they really feel. Because walking away from them, I really cannot say anything about them, about their characteristics, minus the most broadest brush that they were painted with. The girl is angry. That's it. The kid likes video games. The other kid, he is a dork or whatever, likes to learn. I mean, he did a better job with him, but still, I feel like a character, once you get to know them, you almost know how they respond, even in a conversation. Or if a situation comes up, you know, oh, this is how they're going to act. I don't think this passes that test. Thanks for watching.
Now get your tail out of here before I kick some deer butt. You better run.